Welcome back to Hometown TV. Today we are going to talk about Russian war. Make subscribe and share, comments, be the first gets our news. Australia and Japan have agreed to share more intelligence and deepen military cooperation in what is being seen as a security pact aimed at countering China's growing military presence in the Asia-Pacific region. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese and his Japanese counterpart Fumio Kishida agreed on Saturday to strengthen security ties at the annual Australia-Japan leaders meeting in the city of Perth. As part of the closer partnership, Albanese said Japan's military would train and exercise in northern Australia alongside Australian Defence Force personnel, and the exchange of intelligence would be boosted between both countries. In their fourth summit since Albanese took office in May, the two leaders said the agreement would serve as a compass for security cooperation for the next decade. This landmark declaration sends a strong signal to the region of our strategic alignment, Albanese said, hailing the officially titled Joint Declaration on Security Cooperation. Doomsday Clock 5 chilling steps Mad Vlad would have to take to launch a nuke that could kill millions within just 10 minutes. Henry Holloway. Vladimir Putin does the unthinkable and decides to unleash the first nuclear weapon used in a war in nearly 80 years. What happens next? Russia has been wildly swinging its nuclear saber as it continues to face disastrous defeats across the front line in Ukraine. Russian nuclear missiles roll through Moscow. Russian nuclear missiles roll through Moscow, credit AP. And it's feared that if Vlad finds himself boxed into a corner, he could resort to using nuclear weapons. Nukes have not been used in a war since the US dropped 2 bombs on Japan to end World War II. Putin has repeatedly raised the specter of using the weapons, and it's feared he could potentially be lining up a test in the Black Sea. Moscow has red lines in its doctrine about when to use nukes, but they are softer than those in the West. Read more on Russia. Ukraine claims Putin's elite guard deployed to Moscow as Vlad fears coup. Knives Out. Ukraine claims Putin's elite guard deployed to Moscow as Vlad fears coup. Putin may have used pig drone to blow up gas pipeline in Bond-style plot. OANK boom. Putin may have used pig drone to blow up gas pipeline in Bond-style plot. The use of such a weapon has to be signed off by Mad Vlad himself before the orders are passed down the chain of command. It has been claimed that the order going from the top to launch commanders could take as little as 10 minutes. And a massive barrage of nukes could kill millions of people. But how would we get from Putin deciding to use the device to Russian forces actually exploding a nuclear weapon? Putin is the one who sets the creaking wheels of the Russian state in motion to begin a nuclear attack. And a 2020 executive order reveals the circumstances in which Moscow details would use nukes as a means to deterrence. However, deterrence is defined as a defensive position even though it is attacking an enemy which it considers a threat to Russia. The Russian Federation considers nuclear weapons exclusively as a means of deterrence, their use being an extreme and compelled measure, and takes all necessary efforts to reduce nuclear threat and prevent aggravation of interstate relations that could trigger military conflicts, including nuclear ones, the document reads. Vlad will have to order the use of nukes as defined within these relatively vague circumstances. Once the General Staff have agreed to carry out Putin's order, they then get hold of the launch codes. The launch codes are unlocked and then sent onwards to individual weapons commanders. Once the codes have been received, the field commanders are expected to follow them and begin launch procedures. The orders will be sent to submarine commanders, missile silo chiefs, and Air Force leaders who can begin the action. It is understood this could also be sent down to battlefield commanders, such as those in Ukraine, who would have charge of smaller short-range nukes. Nuclear artillery shells and low-yield Iskander missiles are considered some of the tactical nukes Putin could use in Ukraine. These are detailed in 6 wide-ranging points ranging from deployment of missile systems to military build-up. Kremlin documents detail that overall direction of state policy in the area of nuclear deterrence is carried out by the President of the Russian Federation. Step 2. Vlad uses the Chebet. Vlad uses a briefcase called the Chebet to start the nuclear chain reaction. Vlad uses a briefcase called the Cheget to start the nuclear chain reaction. Once Vlad has made up his mind, he will then reach for a nuclear briefcase known as the Cheget. It is understood there are 3 of the cases, all connected to a communications network known as Kafkas. The first is with Vlad at all times, and 2 others are with high-ranking members of Russian Federation. Putin is often seen being followed by an aide carrying the case, which has a personalized key code and is kept under 24/7 supervision by an armed guard. The briefcase, similar to the US's nuclear football, was developed in the early 1980s and was shown to the world for first time in 2019, with its contents being viewed up close on TV. Inside the case is a white, not red button and slots for a flash card, which will thank you for watching Hometown TVT. Make subscribe and share. Comments in order to get our news firstly.